Hi everyone, my name is Lovely Ann Gonzaga and this is my insight about policy development and implementation. Policy development and implementation are often described as distinct and separate stages within policy cycles. In practice, the lines between policy development and implementation can become quite blurred during the policy development stage. Both political and technical issues have to be addressed. During the policy development stage, both political and technical issues have to address political issues including getting buy-in, setting a vision, and managing opposition. Thinking about policy implementation during policy development should be an integral feature of the policy development stage. Policymakers and frontline services need to be involved in the entire policy process. While policy implementation differs, priorities and actions need to be clearly articulated during the policy development process. The diffuse nature of policy. There is often a gap between the intentions of policymakers and how a policy looks when services are delivered to citizens. Government policy is often articulated as a high-level goals and objectives. A range of stakeholders are involved in implementation, for example, institutions, agencies, service providers, and intermediary organizations before they can have the impact on citizens. Complex context for policy implementation. The context for policy implementation is crucial. When implementing policy, many other implementation efforts may be occurring at the same time in different parts of the system. Coherence can help to create a climate for implementation success. Legislation may be required before a policy can be fully implemented, or there may be a need to ensure coherence with existing domestic and international legislation. What enables implementation of policy? There are many similarities between implementing policies and other types of interventions. Implementation enablers are important for policy implementation. Examples include leadership, communication, and feedback mechanism. Leadership is needed at all levels of the system for policy implementation. From a political perspective, the appropriate level of leadership is needed to reshape mandates, resources, structures, and programs. Consistency in leadership has also been suggested as an enabler of implementation, such as fixed terms positions for senior government and department officials to ensure continuity and strengthen the relationships. Communication plays an important role in facilitating successful implementation of a policy and should be a core part of policy development from the beginning and throughout the stages of implementation. Systematic communications are important to share information and feedback on how implementation is progressing across sites, and to share wins and important policy milestones to maintain buy-in and motivation of stakeholders. Feedback mechanisms should be established between policymakers and frontline practitioners once implementation has begun. To ensure the policy is being implemented as intended and planned consequences are addressed efficiently, and to support learning capacity of the system. Again, this is Lovely Ann Gonzaga. Goodbye and thank you all.